Hey Potter fans, it's Matt here with the video review of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, of course, the game is based on the movie, which, as we all know, is based on the book, and it's not my favorite novel in the series, mainly because Potter, in his 5th year, is a bit of a whiner. Thankfully, though, the new title from EA focuses less on Harry's complaining and much more on the action and the atmosphere of exploring a real-life Hogwarts. I've reviewed, I think, every Harry Potter game that's hit for IGN, and I have to tell you, never has there been a better representation or a recreation of this wizarding school. The atmosphere is just amazing in the game, and the environments are enormous. You could, and honestly you will, spend hours upon hours just looking around, exploring, and visiting the various locations. Part of the reason the school is so compelling this time is because there are no load times whatsoever. What this means is that you can walk right from the Gryffindor common room down the grand staircase, out of the school, and over to Hagrid's cabin if you want, and you'll never experience a single load. This fact is all the more impressive because the school is so enormous, it really is, and you're going to expect load times, you'll never have them. However, because the game is constantly streaming in new locations and characters, you will see slowdown. And I would say overall the frame rate runs between 20 and 30 frames, dropping periodically. That's going to be a disappointment for some. That being true, because Order of the Phoenix is largely an adventure game, you will not rely on that smooth frame rate as much as you might with pure action titles. You're very much free to explore the school as you want, although you will encounter objectives as you go. There are mini-games, there are characters to see, and there are places to find, in addition to items to collect. There are a host of mini-games from memorization cards to chess to marbles. Meanwhile, the majority of tasks require that you use your wand and your smarts to complete environmental puzzles or to retrieve items. Thankfully, you can bring up the Marauder's map at any time and then follow footsteps to these items. Fear not, there is of course straight up action as well. For instance, you might use your wand to lay the magical smackdown on any opponent. Seamlessly intertwined with your daily activities are the storyline elements. So as you attend class or hang out with friends or collect items, you'll also have to find the time to assemble Dumbledore's army and then train these people. All the recognizable Potter characters are back, including the Weasleys, Sirius Black, Dumbledore, and then Ron's closest friends, and many of these people are actually voiced by the real actors, which is a really cool thing. On top of that, as you play through the game, you'll also even get to control the Weasleys, Sirius Black, and believe it or not, at one point, Dumbledore. So let's talk about control for a second. In the Wii version of the title, you control Potter with the nunchuck's analog stick, and you perform his magical moves using gestures with the Wii remote. Harry moves through the environments very heavily. He feels a bit sluggish. He's still very maneuverable, but don't expect Prince of Persia in Hogwarts. There will be times where you just want to run through an environment, but can't, because you're made to walk as the game loads that next spot. And there are sometimes camera issues where the action isn't shot from the proper angle, which makes simple exploration a bit more difficult than it needs to be. The wand controls, though, are really cool, and, mind you, a very, very natural fit for the Wii remote. To cast spells, you simply lock onto objects and characters in the world, and then motion with the Wii remote or nunchuck. For example, to cast Wingardium Leviosa, I would simply pull backward quickly on both the nunchuck and the Wii remote at the same time, and then I would have control of that object in the air, and I could rotate it around, send it forward or backward, left or right, simply by motioning forward, left or right, backward, and so forth with my two controllers. Honestly, it feels pretty outstanding, and the first time I did this, I was shocked at how well it all controlled. The really cool part is that each spell has a different motion associated with it. For instance, to repair broken items, I simply lock onto them and then do a twirling motion with the Wii remote, and that will fix them. I think the Wii remote and nunchuck are so well suited for the Potter franchise that they really give Order of Phoenix the advantage on Nintendo's console. Obviously, the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions are going to look a little better, and really I stress little because they are running in high def, but the Wii version of Potter actually looks pretty outstanding for the most part. It's one of the prettier titles on the system. But with the added Wii controls, it's by far the version to get, at least for me. Order of the Phoenix on Wii has been a really interesting game to rate because it does so much right. You've got the huge world, you've got a brilliant use of the license, but at the same time it's kind of sluggish, it's a little buggy at points, and some of the walking around the environment controls feel a little off. But if you're a Potter fan, you're going to be blown away by the world, you really will, and the Wii controls really go a long way. There are flaws for sure, but Order of Phoenix is a success despite them, which is why I've given it a 7.8, and I think Potter fans are going to love it. It's certainly my favorite Potter game to date. However, if you're a diehard Potter fan who can get past some of the flaws, I think you can probably add a full point to the final score.